The conclusion of Rick Grimes' spin-off changed The Walking Dead's future, but it also made one Daryl Dixon character more important. The Ones Who Live is the latest Walking Dead spin-off, and it finally brought Rick Grimes and Michonne back to the series after years away from the franchise. After 6 compelling episodes, The Ones Who Live's ending saw the protagonists defeat the CRM and reunite with their children, providing fans with some closure to their story. However, the conclusion also had ramifications on another show as the spin-off impacted Daryl Dixon and one of its central characters. Just like The Ones Who Live, Daryl Dixon debuted to strong reviews and introduced several new characters as Daryl took the series outside of America for the first time. While Carol will be joining Daryl Dixon Season 2's cast, the spin-off has put far more of an emphasis on its new additions compared to Dead City and The Ones Who Live. As a result, this has created a plethora of new survivors who could become a huge part of the franchise's future, and one character in particular has become far more important after Rick Grimes' spin-off. Janet's Daryl Dixon role is even more important after The Ones Who Live wasted Major General Beale. Major General Beale's sudden exit puts more pressure on Janet to step up. With The Ones Who Live wasting Major General Beale, Janet's villainous role in Daryl Dixon becomes far more important. Major General Beale was one of The Walking Dead's recent main antagonists as he led the CRM in Rick and Michonne's spin-off. Beale was first referenced in World Beyond, and with the franchise building up the CRM as the next major villain, Beale seemed like he would have a pivotal role. The CRM had been teased for years in the Walking Dead universe, but their swift defeat led to Beale being killed off despite being such an intriguing enemy. This creates more pressure on Daryl Dixon to avoid doing the same with Janet. The spin-off's return seems less than a few months away, but it can't afford to write off another key villain shortly after Beale. Janet may not have the same build-up and be a little less intimidating than Beale and the CRM, but she still holds a lot of power in France. Therefore, she should remain the central antagonist in Daryl Dixon rather than introducing a new threat for Season 2, and Janet should be given even more power now that Beale is gone. Daryl Dixon Season 2 must make Janet more dangerous. Janet could have been more intimidating in Daryl Dixon Season 1. Daryl Dixon next to Janet in The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Despite being the leading antagonist in Season 1, Daryl Dixon must make Janet more dangerous next season. Although she held a lot of control over France, Janet's plan in Daryl Dixon involved taking over the entire country, and she needed Laurent to help her achieve this since he is so inspirational. Many of the French people still rebelled against Janet and her group due to her unethical methods of control, which included experimenting on zombies and forcing her enemies to fight against variants, yet Janet still feels like a slightly underwhelming enemy despite her forceful attempt at taking over France. Janet's evil acts fail to compete with some of The Walking Dead's best villains, and even Caudron felt more menacing at times. Caudron's group was responsible for killing the nuns in Episode 1, which was one of the spin-off's most violent scenes. Janet may have plenty of control, but despite her lack of morality, she still gave Daryl a chance to fight for his life, which ultimately led to him fleeing her stronghold with Isabel and Laurent. Given she commands such a large group, Janet has to be more dangerous in Season 2 to make her a truly memorable antagonist. Why Janet needs to become The Walking Dead's next big villain. The Ones Who Live left The Walking Dead without a central villain. Collage of Daryl and Janet in The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon. Although Janet's introduction wasn't as intimidating as the likes of Negan's or Alpha's, The Walking Dead needs to make her franchise's next big villain. Major General Beale's departure left the franchise without a major antagonist, and Janet would be the perfect character to fill this void. Her group has shown some similarities to the CRM by their violent methods and desire for complete supremacy over their country, making Janet a strong like-for-like replacement. The series can also make her more brutal as it progresses, and she could develop a more personal grudge with Daryl.